Hello everyone, and this is my review for WWE Friday Night Smackdown on March 22nd, 2013. And basically, just to go off and say right off the bat, Smackdown this week was it was okay in a sense. It wasn't really all that great. It wasn't even really that good. Just a few things that kind of stood out in any kind of sense was, some of the matches in general. You had a squash match with Zack Ryder and Mark Henry, and I'll get into that storyline in a sense. Even the main event was kind of just a squash match, but it was more just around building the stories around going into WrestleMania. One of the other interesting areas, maybe not really interesting, but kind of disappointing, was where they're going with Damien Sandow and Cody Rhodes. They brought them back together as a tag team after they said they were going to not be a tag team anymore, but they basically have them feuding with Brutus Clay and Tensai at this point. I think they're calling him Sweet Tea now or something in that sense. Something really stupid, honestly, in my mind. And basically, they had a quick short match this week. They got interrupted by, of course, the Bella Twins, who returned a few weeks ago, and of course, Brutus Clay's dancers, Cameron and Naomi. Now, I mean, it's kind of disappointing because I felt like Damien Sandow and Cody Rhodes were a really good tag team, but since there's already a tag team title match in there already with Dolph Ziggler and Big E Langston and Team Hell No, you kind of need something for these guys, and I mean, at least they kind of have something going into the WrestleMania area. I don't know if it's going to lead into a match or a segment or something in that sense, but at least they have something right now, but it isn't all that great in my mind. The other area, the squash match with Mark Henry and Zack Ryder. Again, squash match, whatever type moment. The good aspect of it was the face to face with him and Ryback. Of course, they're leading into their match at WrestleMania, and I like the aspect of Ryback being able to show his power over Mark Henry in this sense, because he was able to knock him down with a big clothesline. It definitely shows that Ryback can go toe-to-toe with Mark Henry here with power and everything on that sense. He can actually knock him down. He can do all that area. You don't have that era of can he do all that going into the actual match. He can put him down, he can knock him down, he can do all that kind of stuff. The only thing that you don't know is if he can do the shell shock. That probably won't come until WrestleMania, or if they even try to use that as a finisher to begin with. So it was at least good to see them, have a little bit more of a build between the two of them, albeit with a squash match in there to go along with it. You also had somewhat of a really short match with Antonio Cesaro and The Miz, who were feuding not too terribly long ago. But of course, you have Wade Barrett down at the announcers table, and the match ends with Miz winning. He's wanting to challenge Wade Barrett. Obviously, they're going for some kind of feud there. I'm okay. I'm definitely okay with the two of them feuding. I wish they would have something for Antonio Cesaro going into WrestleMania, but that doesn't really look like they have all that much. They might throw something together for him here soon, in some way, shape, or form. But it would have been nice to see him have more of a meaningful feud. As a matter of fact, I actually liked the character that he was playing at the time, and is not really doing anymore, with the whole he likes America but he hates Americans type deal. I liked where they were going with that, and I wish they would have kept it, but they decided to forego that and go another direction, and they kind of made his character a little bit bland at this point. So hopefully they'll have something for him. He's always fun to watch in the ring, and obviously you have the Intercontinental title feud as well with The Miz and Wade Barrett. That should be a fun match as well to watch at WrestleMania, and hopefully they'll have some kind of decent build over the next couple weeks. I mean, you got a couple Raws and a couple Smackdowns. Hopefully you can get a good feud out of that. But all in all, I mean, the next match, which was pretty much, you have a couple of really good matches on the show, which one, Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston. Again, these two always put on a really good match when they're put together, and tonight was no exception. They did really well in the ring. You had AJ on commentary putting over the match with Team Hell No at WrestleMania. All in all, I mean, it didn't really do anything to build towards the tag team title match at all, outside of them doing the exact same thing that they've been doing. Dolph Ziggler wins the match, and then Big E Langston finishes them off afterwards, and in there as well. So I mean, you got nothing really that builds the feud for the tag team title match, but you got some. You got some fun, entertaining commentary out of AJ, and you got a very fun match to watch with Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler, so that's not too bad in my mind. The other really good match on the show, which was Jack Swagger and Chris Jericho. Once again, these two put on a really good match. Jack Swagger in general is really good in the ring, and of course how everybody knows how good Chris Jericho is as well, and they just mesh together well. The only thing that really irks me, and this is still kind of the fact that I don't feel like the guy deserves to be in this kind of spot at this point, and it almost feels like they're trying to shove him down his throat, is the Fandango deal with him interrupting the match, all that, allowing Jack Swagger to get the win. Obviously, Jack Swagger needs victories in this sense, so I'm okay with that portion. It's just the whole Fandango being paired up with Chris Jericho going into WrestleMania. I mean, the one good thing that you got out of this is that he actually did something physical for once. He wasn't just out there to say people are mispronouncing my name deal. He was actually showing what he can do in some way, shape, or form with his attack on Jericho during the match and after the match as well. So at least there was something decent with it, but I still don't see the point of having him paired up with Jericho going into WrestleMania in any way, shape, or form. I wish they would have had a better feud in line for Jericho going into the pay-per-view, but obviously this is where they're going to go. And hopefully we'll get to see some kind of good match out of it at some point in time at Mania here. That's all you can really hope for in that sense. But a lot of focal point of the show actually went with the whole Shield versus Randy Orton, Sheamus, and now Big Show trying to be a part of the team. They had some really good promos in there, with him trying to say, hey, I may not like you, with Big Show saying, hey, I may not like you guys, but I'm more than willing to team up with you to try to take out the Shield type deal. Sheamus, of course, not being able to trust Big Show in any way, shape, or form, and then oddly enough, Randy Orton being the voice of reason of the entire thing, saying, hey, we need a team up type deal. So that came off a little weird with the whole aspect of Randy Orton being the voice of reason when he's usually never the voice of reason. But you got a nice little area where you're thinking, it's like, okay, they're working well as a team during their match with 3MB. Now, granted, it was pretty much just a squash match in general. And then towards the end of the match, you have the blind tag, which Sheamus picks up the win, and then Big Show and Sheamus start arguing. They start shoving each other. All three of them are arguing. Then the Shield comes out, and they kind of get back together. So that they are basically showing that they're still having a hard time getting along, but they'll get along as soon as the Shield comes out there type moment. And that's a good way of showing it at this point, because you can definitely go off the aspect that they will maybe the Shield can gain advantage where they can do some kind of sneak attack while they're arguing and gain an advantage in that some way, shape, or form, or will the team actually fully go up together, or will Big Show just turn on them at Mania or something in that sense. But all in all, like I said, I felt Smackdown this week was just an okay show. You had some decent builds towards the main storylines. I wish they would have had Alberto Del Rio on the show in some way to try to extract some revenge on Jack Swagger, because they played the angle where Jack Swagger breaks Ricardo Rodriguez's ankle on Monday night. Wish they would have had something with Del Rio there, but they got a couple. They'll probably do something with that on Monday night, so we'll get to see where they're going to go with that there. But overall, like I said, the show was okay. Matches weren't really great to watch outside of the two that I mentioned, and you got some decent build towards WrestleMania storylines. So yeah, that's my review this week for Friday Night SmackDown. I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.